Northwestern now up to 6 interceptions on the season. That is one shy of its total from all of last year. Redshirt freshman safety Brandon Joseph had 2 of them in the win over Iowa, named the Big Ten's co-freshman of the week, and he joins us now. Brandon, let's start with this. The turnovers have been a huge part of the story for your defense so far this year. I mentioned it is a departure from an area where this team struggled a year ago. What has changed here?
Yeah, so the whole defense came with a new mindset this year. So we noticed that 3 interceptions last year wasn't okay. So this year we came out with in this offseason with the mindset of we're creating turnovers, whether that's forced fumbles or interceptions. In the first 2 games, we've been able to create interceptions, but we just have the whole defense has a turnover mindset. We saw 7 interceptions last year on the year was not okay. So every game we're coming in with the emphasis on turnovers and creating turnovers and giving the ball back to our offense.
You personally are off to a great start. You led the team in tackles in the season opening win over Maryland, and then, of course, the 2 interceptions that we talked about against Iowa. Now, it's interesting, you're a redshirt freshman, but you did get to play in 4 games last year, and, of course, that was the rule that started here recently in college football, where you could play in those games and still maintain that red shirt. How do you think that experience helped you when you were thrust into the starting role this year?
Yeah, that experience last year was huge for me. It gave me those 4 games to get the jitters out, get the nerves out, and I was able to come in at the beginning of this season and just kind of do my thing and play football. So those 4 games last year, really helpful in the transition process from high school to college, and now I'm just out there doing my thing. Just the speed of the game, it's a whole nother speed, it's a whole nother level. I'm out there running as fast as I can all the time. So the speed of the game has changed, and I'm still working to adjust to that and go out there and go as hard as I can all the time.
2 games in, you already have Big Ten Freshman of the Week under your belt. What was your reaction when you heard that you'd won that?
It's cool, but I don't like focusing on individual honors. My whole focus that game was to win that game. I didn't care 2 interceptions. If we would have lost by a game-winning field goal, it's for nothing. So I'm just going out there every game trying to win. We're 2-0, and our goal is to go undefeated. So we're going out there every single week trying to win the game.
Well, certainly your role has changed significantly. We mentioned playing minimally last year in those 4 games. Then Travis Willock opted out, and he's a big part of this defense a year ago. At what point were you able to kind of recalibrate yourself and say, hey, I'm going from a guy who is just coming in here playing in 4 games just to kind of get my feet wet to someone who's going to play a major role on this defense? What's the mindset shift there?
Oh, it was definitely a mindset shift. Those first 4 games was more of like a special teams role player. And then coming in to a whole new season, a whole new year, I'm starting safety. That's a completely different role. So I got to completely change the mindset and focus on really playing what I am. I'm a safety. I'm going to go play safety. That's what I want to be. That's how I want to be when I'm out on the field. So I'm going to go out there and just do my thing. I got to really focus on, like I said earlier, creating turnovers. That's an emphasis for us on defense, and we're going to go continue to do that.
Now, you are from College Station, Texas. You had originally committed to Texas Tech. There was a coaching change there, reopened your recruitment, and then committed late to Northwestern. What's been the biggest adjustment for you coming from Texas to the Midwest?
It's cold up here. I'm from Texas where it's 90 all the time. So the weather, that's one thing. In Chicago, it's always cold. Having to adjust to that. Luckily, this year, it's been nice at the beginning.
Last year wasn't a great year for the family. You guys had an uncharacteristic, really, down season. What was the conversation amongst the team heading into this year?
Never again. Never again. Last year was something that is unacceptable. That record, that performance, that's something that that's not a standard that we hold here. So we went into this offseason with never again. That record, that performance will not happen. We're coming in a new year. Our minds are set. We started off how we wanted, and now we got to go out and finish and continue every single game.
It's one thing to say never again, but how do you make never again happen? Like, what did you guys do differently maybe going into this year than you had done the year before?
I think defensively, we really focused, like I said, this emphasis on turnovers. It was something that we didn't get enough of last year. And something that if we want to win games, we know we have to go do. We have to go give the ball to our offense, give them as many chances. And then our offense, they're a different weapon than they were last year. You've seen that. They've already probably matched the stats they did last year in these first 2 games. So our offense is coming with new weapons, new tools, and our defense, we're going to go try to give them the ball as many times as we can.
Last question for you. You've got Nebraska coming up here this week. What are the biggest things that you see when you watch the Huskers on tape?
Yeah, we see Martinez in their quarterback, and he has abilities to throw, to run. We know we're going to have to contain that man. And also, number one, we see that he's a threat, and they like to get him the ball. So we're going to do what we can to stop mainly those two. And then I believe in Coach Hank and this game plan, and we're just going to go out and do our thing.
Brandon Joseph, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on a great start. Looking forward to watching you guys play the Huskers here on the Big Ten Network on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.